Kenya's opposition supporters are holding demonstrations in various towns across the country to demand the removal of electoral commissioners whom they accuse of bungling August presidential elections. Meanwhile, the European Union's election observer mission to Kenya has cautioned the East African nation against making changes to electoral laws or making excessive demands which cannot be met by the Electoral Commission at this time, saying it would undermine the integrity of the polls. Kenya's Supreme Court voided August presidential elections over irregularities that it says affected the outcome of the polls.
The opposition has called for street protests every Monday and Friday to push for the removal of electoral commissioners who bungled August presidential elections, among other conditionalities. The protest and the tabling in Parliament of amendments to the electoral laws by the Jubilee Party have heightened tensions in Kenya ahead of fresh elections later this month.
We are concerned that parties are making calls for very substantial changes to the election, and we think that these discussions about substantial changes are very warranted, but post-election, when there's more time to look at more substantial fundamental changes and to work through a process of dialogue, consultation and getting consensus where possible.
The European Union's elections observer mission to Kenya has made 18 recommendations that they say would make the high-stakes polls free, fair and verifiable as directed by the Supreme Court. They have also recommended investigations into what happened on the 8th of August and prosecutions of those who may have led to the invalidation of the results.
We think it's important that there is individual accountability as well as institutional accountability, but sometimes that takes time and there should be due process around that. So we think there should be proper investigations, but now we're looking very much at what's happening on the ground and how these elections are going to be delivered.
The mission says it did not certify the polls as free and fair as largely perceived.
Whatever we said on the 10th of August was taken as our general line on the election altogether. So when it was actually only about the process up until the counting. So I think one of the lessons for us is to delay when we give our commentary on that election day period and to speak a little bit later when we have some more information on how the tallying has gone.
Despite the ongoing political standoff, the Electoral Commission says it is ready to hold elections on the 26th of this month. Sarah Kimani, SABC News, Kenya.
And to